I saw they were actively lying about the narrative. So what I found in the manifesto was, no, he was no right-winger. Everyone's always a radical right-winger. He's some crazy incel who hates women. That part's a little bit true, but you know who he also hates? He hates men. He hates all of humanity. He was a deeply resentful person, deeply, deeply resentful, who hated all of humanity. And yes, turns out he was a radical, revolutionary communist.
C'est pas nouveau, on voit ça un peu partout dans le monde. Malheureusement, dans les médias, il y a beaucoup de choses qui ne sont pas exactement très transparentes. Et il y a beaucoup plus d'antisémitisme que ce qu'on pense.
Alexa Lavoie for Rebel News, and I'm currently at the exact location where last Monday's Montreal shooting took place. A Marxist revolutionary decided to put his worldview into action. He traveled from his hometown to Montreal to target what appears to have been Halo's headquarters, the company that owns Pornhub, while mainstream media outlets that received the 104-page manifesto first have literally omitted its far-left Marxist and anti-Semitic elements. We at Rebel News published the real elements presented in that document and also made the manifesto available to the public. We did so not because we wanted to promote this disgusting and vile manifesto, but because we believed the public deserved access to the material because legacy media kept being dishonest about it. During the attack, courageous police constable Mohamed Lamin Ben Redouane lost his life in the line of duty. A Jewish resident, Michel Mizrahi, was also caught in the crossfire and killed, while trying also to save lives. Tonight, people are gathering here to hold a vigil in memory of these two men who lost their lives. Two GoFundMe campaigns have also been created to support the victims' families. Tonight, we are here to report on the vigil and speak with those who have come to pay their respects.
Everybody here and everybody that heard about this tragedy would never think it would happen. It would never happen here in the midst of our community. And when I say our community, I don't mean the Jewish community alone. It's the community of Montreal.
It's a tragedy, but at the same time, we have to find the good in the tragedy. And so at the end of the day, you had an Algerian Muslim man rushing into a predominantly Jewish neighborhood, and he knew it, to save Jews. And at the end of the day, I think it needs to bring our communities together and say we're all the sons of Abraham, and we need to come together. And there's going to be crazy, there's going to be evil, but if we come together, we can overcome that.
Bah écoutez, on est tous très affectés. Je pense que c'est pas juste la communauté juive et la communauté musulmane, c'est la communauté de Montréal et la communauté du monde quand on voit des actes comme ça.
I don't think anyone would have stepped up and tried to protect others and other families from the shooter. So honestly, I think these two souls are very special, and that's why we're here today, to unite, to commemorate them, to thank them for what they did.
Il n'y a pas de mots pour exprimer la douleur, la tristesse, le désarroi vraiment qu'on ressent d'être à Montréal et de vivre une situation comme telle. On voit les choses se dérouler, on le voit ailleurs, et on se dit à Montréal, ça devrait pas arriver ce genre de choses.
First of all, it's a horrible tragedy. You know, my heart goes out to the family. This man, I'm getting an idea. He was a true hero. He risked his life. He sacrificed his life to save at least 5 innocent people, women and children. And you know, we owe that is what. That is truly the epitome of a good Canadian citizen.
We know that he has a place of wholesaler of suit, and I spoke to him. I told him, Michel, I'm going to see you on Monday because I'm looking for suit. And he says, okay, come. And the next day he came here, and then he came here. He actually picked up the milkshake. He went out, and then after it happens, what happened. So we are very, very sad. He was an amazing guy. We knew him. That's it. So all the community right now, it's triste, we say.
Les tireurs, ils tiraient des balles. J'ai paniqué, il y avait 40 balles. Donc j'ai paniqué, j'étais comme alors j'ai couru et mon ami Michel il a acheté une boisson ici, il a sorti pour voir ce qui se passe et finalement il est venu ici là et les policiers il a croyé que c'est un terroriste quoi, il a tiré sur le côté gauche et puis il a tombé. J'ai jamais cru à ce quartier là ça va arriver ça, c'est un vrai cauchemar. Il était bonne personne ces gars-là, très gentil, chaleureux. Aimé par tout le monde, pas de mots à dire. Pour moi, c'est comme pas un copain, c'est un frère. Et le tueur, il avait un objectif, pas tuer des gens, il voulait tuer les policiers, à mon avis. Parce que mon ami, il marchait, il a tout touché à lui, il pouvait le tuer, il n'a rien fait à lui.
We live in a world unpredictable with all kinds of issues. Somebody told me, Leon, what do you think it's going to happen again? Unfortunately, it's a hard question to answer, but we hope not. But you never know what things happen. How it makes me feel very, very sad that we lose a policeman that came to help citizens and rescue people, and he loses his life. And a bystander passing by, a nice gentleman whom I know very well, also lost his life just by being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Le monsieur juif, je le connaissais pas, mais je le voyais souvent dans l'ascenseur, et toujours souriant, il venait s'acheter une voiture de l'année, il aimait la vie, il croquait la vie. Ouais, j'aurais aimé le connaître plus, honnêtement.
What do you think of that, the coverage of the mainstream media?
Honestly, I did read the manifesto, 104 pages. It was very disturbing. I'll talk about on my opinion on the anti-Semitism part, the fact that they left that out, anti-Zionism.
The fact that I was prompted to read one of the most disturbing things I've ever had to read, the manifesto, is not because I wanted to, because I was curious or anything, because I knew for a fact that the media, the mainstream media in Canada, the liberal media apparatus, CBC, CTV, City News, Global News, I can go on, they were going to lie about it. They were actively lying. And now that I read it, I saw they were actively lying about the narrative. So what I found in the manifesto was, no, he was no right-winger. Everyone's always a radical right-winger. He's some crazy incel who hates women. That part's a little bit true, but you know who he also hates? He hates men. He hates all of humanity. He was a deeply resentful person, deeply, deeply resentful, who hated all of humanity. And yes, turns out he was a radical revolutionary communist who wanted to radically overthrow what he calls high capitalism, not even low capitalism, high capitalism, which is what we have in the West. He wants to get rid of all private property. He wants to get rid of all forms of currency.
I wouldn't say that the entire, crime was focused on, the Jewish community, but I will say that this is a very prominent Jewish community. A lot of Jews live here, and I wouldn't say there's no connection, and I think it's a very important part to mention.
I think there's always going to be crazy people. Unfortunately, this shooter, I would just qualify him as mentally unstable, and you combine that with a high-powered weapon, and you're going to have a tragedy. But I'd rather focus on the living and bringing communities together rather than focusing on a deranged person who was evil.
C'est pas nouveau, on voit ça un peu partout dans le monde. Malheureusement, dans les médias, il y a beaucoup de choses qui ne sont pas exactement très transparentes. Et il y a beaucoup plus d'antisémitisme que ce qu'on pense.
C'est facile d'omettre, c'est facile de se concentrer sur un point qui est plus politique, disons, plus facile à avaler. En bout de ligne, le manifeste, il parle pour lui-même.
His suggestion on how to start this revolution is to distribute flyers and distribute signs and commit acts of vandalism while you're masked, because of course you got to mask up, you're on camera. That was a sign that you literally saw at Concordia. So the same literature that you see at Concordia, that's commonplace at college campuses, you see in the manifesto, which is terrifying and dangerous and evil that the media did not cover this. He's incredibly anti-Western. He loathes Western civilization, so much so in the first page of his manifesto, he makes it very clear that if this manifesto is to get to any non-Western nation, He encourages them not to commit any violence, not to do any harm. He only intends this to destabilize the West. That is his only intention here.
So I pray that Montrealers from every background, of every creed and every religion, Montrealers from all neighborhoods and all colors, that this moment of darkness brings us together to stand tall and stand united against hate and division.
Do you have any concern that this kind of crime of people adhering to that kind of manifesto will act again?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely not the only one who has this way of thinking, and it's very scary to think that his message is going to reach other people. He ended his manifesto saying, "Kill them all." He gave people exactly ways in which to do these acts of terror and murder, and yeah, it's very concerning, and it definitely could happen again.
The problem is I'm not only concerned, I know for a fact that this kind of ideology is commonplace on college campuses, so the groundwork that brought someone like this to commit such evil is there at Concordia, at U of T, at every major university, not only in every major city in Canada, but every major university in Canada and in America, specifically in Canada, and specifically places like Concordia, the most anti-Western university in North America. These ideas are commonplace. So if I think that this is going to happen again, of course I do, because there is a university system in academia, and no one has these stones and the moral backbone to actually combat this ideologically. These kind of ideologies are commonplace. So of course, violence is praised at Concordia. It's touted as resistance. So yes, I'm very worried, and I really think that if we don't do something now, then obviously something is going to happen again.
I hope not. I'm not sure, but there is a grow up of anti-Semitism in our community, and I hope it's going to stop. We, all the Jewish community here, in a way, they are worried that it might happen again. I hope not. I'm very safe. I love Quebec. I'm 44 years in Quebec, and I consider Quebec as home, and I have no reason to worry. But my kids, I should worry about my kids, but I love Quebec.
Do you think the police is actually ready to face the far left violence?
In Canada, no. No, it's because the upper echelon, not the day-to-day police officer, the average police officer is dedicating their life. We owe them our life. They are risking their lives every single day to uphold the law. It is the upper echelon, it is the leadership that control what the police does, what the military does, what the RCMP does. It is the leadership that is responsible for this and their neglect to actually deal with the issues on the ground.
Moi, à mon expérience, à un moment, les policiers, ils n'ont pas beaucoup d'expérience. Ils ont laissé les gars shooter. Il a été shooté 8 heures par terre. Normalement, il doit envoyer l'ambulance pour essayer de sauver la vie. Et puis il a laissé par terre. C'est pas normal. Normalement, avant, il faut sauver la vie des personnes. Après, la police, fermer les lieux et tout. Ça, c'est inacceptable, à mon avis.
Faire face, je pense qu'ils n'ont pas eu le choix devant un fait accompli. Là, maintenant, il faut voir est-ce que des actes plus importants vont être posés. Il faudra voir.
I hope so. As a citizen, I really hope so that the police is there to protect us and to protect everybody. This is their job, and I'm sure they're doing the best. I mean, that's what they've done here. They lost one of their own, and it's a tough one to lose one of their own. It's like I was standing there for 5 minutes looking at the picture and crying in my heart. He leaves behind a pregnant woman with a kid, and we were very happy to do whatever we could do in his GoFundMe, which I encourage everybody to go in and donate so we can help this pregnant woman, the wife, and the kid, whatever help we can give, but bring him back. He will not come back, unfortunately. That kid will be raised with no father.
We don't receive any money from the government, so if you want to support our independent journalism, if you think it's important that we exist, go over rebelfearreports.com and chip in what you can, and thank you in advance.